It's been long known that when it comes to the NBA draft, numbers matter. Franchises with a top 3 pick are over 50% more likely to draft a future All-Star than the remaining draft positions. And things only get worse once you're into the second round. Since the MVP trophy was introduced in 1955, 46 players have won the award. Only one of them was a second-round pick. Strategically, it's an afterthought, the place you go for role players and bench warmers, not franchise stars and future league MVPs. But what about that one? Well, the second round of the draft has produced some of the most talented and successful NBA players in recent times. From natural-born leaders to franchise-altering superstars, these hoopers showed everyone that the draft stock means nothing. So buckle up as we take a look at some of the best second-round picks in NBA history. When we talk about the best the second round has to offer, we need to talk about Draymond Green. Selected 35th overall in the 2012 draft, Green's NBA debut was what you'd expect from a late-round draftee. He played 1 minute, made 1 defensive rebound, and committed 1 foul in the season opener against the Suns. Kind of impressive if you think about it. Green was undersized, lacked skill, and only averaged 2.9 points his rookie season. Nobody could have predicted that a decade later, Draymond would have 4 NBA championships, multiple All-Star appearances, and a Defensive Player of the Year award under his belt. Emerging as the leader of the NBA's youngest dynasty, Green's leadership and defensive hustle helped Golden State become one of the most dominant teams in recent history. Alongside generational talent Steph Curry and Splash Brother teammate Klay Thompson, this second-round draft pick was at the core of the Warriors' success, taking the team to 5 straight NBA Finals. In his 11 years in the Bay, Green has an all-time average 8.7 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. He's gone toe-to-toe with the likes of LeBron James and Kevin Durant, and been a crunch-time performer when it matters most. But just like his draft stock, it's not the numbers that make Draymond special. He's a natural leader, the emotional anchor of the team, and you can see it in the way he plays. He understands basketball really well. As a result, this statistically average performer, drafted in the second round, is poised to end up in the Hall of Fame, making him one of the few second-round picks to ever make the coveted list. His success and impact on the Warriors is respected league-wide, and today, the 35th pick of the 2012 draft can boast more rings than any of his other draft classmen. But Draymond isn't the only second-round draftee to find himself enshrined in an NBA dynasty. Argentinian shooting guard Manu Ginobili played 16 seasons for the Spurs, winning 4 championships, making 2 All-Star appearances, and earning a number of individual accolades both at home and abroad. Together with Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, Ginobili completed the Spurs' Big Three lineup that dominated the early 2000s and spawned the first dynasty of the 21st century. Before making the NBA, Ginobili was an accomplished Euroballer, having won 2 Italian League MVP awards, a EuroLeague Finals MVP, and the 2001 EuroLeague Championship. Despite this, though, he was drafted 57th overall, putting him second to last in the class of '99. He wouldn't actually lace up for the Spurs until 2002, but when he did, he made an immediate impact. Replacing veteran guard Stephen Smith, Ginobili played in every playoff game in his rookie season, helping the Spurs win their second NBA Finals in the franchise's history. Manu would help San Antonio win 3 more championships, cementing his legacy within the Spurs dynasty. When it was all said and done, this second-rounder would finish his career with an average of 13.3 points, 3.8 assists, and 3.5 rebounds. In 2022, he was announced as a first-ballot inductee into the Hall of Fame, and today, we look at the Argentinian shooting guard as one of the greatest 6th men in NBA history. But a whole decade before Ginobili was dazzling defenders and winning championships, Croatian big man Toni Kukoc was paving the way for European hoopers. Selected by the Chicago Bulls with the 29th pick overall, Kukoc's position in the draft does not reflect his ability one bit. A natural small forward, Kukoc was a highly versatile attacker, capable of playing multiple positions on the court. His outside shooting touch was considered rare for a guy his size, and his court vision made him an excellent playmaker with the ball. He won a silver medal at the '88 and '92 Olympics and is one of the only 2 players in history to receive the EuroLeague Final Four MVP award on 3 separate occasions. Despite mostly coming off the bench for Pippen and Grant, Kukoc was averaging double-digit scoring and made the NBA All-Rookie second team. He also proved to be reliable in the clutch, scoring playoff game winners against the Jazz in '97 and the Knicks in '94. He would finish his career with an average 11.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, and was the third highest scorer on the Bulls team during their late '90s three-peat, despite primarily coming off the bench. To this day, he is still the last player to win a Sixth Man of the Year award and an NBA championship in the same season, and is an inductee in both the European and American Basketball Hall of Fame. While his time in the NBA was cut short, Kukoc's impact was massive. He paved the way for European talent and helped to dismantle the NBA's long-standing prejudice towards foreign basketball stars and the European style of play. This increased attention to Euroball would eventually help to bring players like Luka Doncic and Dirk Nowitzki to the NBA. And in 2014, the Denver Nuggets rode this wave and signed their own European talent. Little did they know, he would change their franchise forever. Hidden deep inside the second round of the 2014 draft class, a generational player was sitting at home in Serbia, waiting to hear his name get called. Only it never was. Instead, he, alongside with the rest of us, had to read his name from the bottom of the screen while a Taco Bell commercial played instead. The league didn't know it then, but the name Nikola Jokic would soon be everywhere. Chosen 41st overall, Jokic has been labeled as the biggest NBA draft steal in NBA history. And looking at what he's achieved so far, it's hard to disagree. In his 8 seasons with the Nuggets, Jokic has made 5 All-Star appearances with 3 as a starter, won back-to-back regular season MVP awards, a Western Conference Finals MVP award, taken the Nuggets to their first ever NBA Finals, won it, and took home the Finals MVP trophy in the process. And they played a Taco Bell commercial over his draft announcement? During his championship-winning run, Jokic averaged 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists, and became the first player to lead the league in points, rebounds, and assists in the playoffs. And the scariest part? It looks like he's just getting started. Alongside talents like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and his 2014 draft classmate Aaron Gordon, Jokic and the Nuggets are set to be a dominating force in the West for years to come. He's already in the top 10 for most triple-doubles ever recorded, and is the only player since the draft was updated to win a league MVP award as a second-round draftee. Even with just half of what he's achieved, Jokic could still be considered the greatest second-round draft pick in NBA history. And with every season, the case for Jokic as one of the greatest of all time looks more and more justified. What draws so many people to Jokic is his Cinderella story. The Taco Bell commercial just shows how little value he had to the league on draft night. But the Serbian center is not the only second-round pick with a $1 million story. Pint-sized Celtics point guard Isaiah Thomas is another late-round draftee that showed the league draft stock means nothing. Standing at just 5'9", Thomas defied the odds after being drafted to the NBA with the last pick of the 2011 draft class. The league paid him no attention, and only one reporter came to interview Thomas on draft night. Frustrated but by no means defeated, Thomas began his incredible career with the Sacramento Kings, winning Rookie of the Month twice and being named to the All-Rookie Second Team. He was a solid scorer with great handles and an eye for passing the ball, and defenders struggled to clamp up the little point guard. But it wasn't until 2015, when Thomas signed with the Boston Celtics, that his career would hit a growth spurt of its own. With Boston, Thomas shined. He became the lowest draft pick to be named an All-Star since the draft was reduced to 2 rounds in '89, and tied Calvin Murphy as the shortest ever All-Star player in NBA history. He helped Boston become the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, dropping monster numbers, and finished the season with the 3rd highest points per game average in the league. He was selected as an All-Star again in 2017 and frequently led the league in scoring, but it was his playoff performances that cemented him as a legend. Facing the Bulls in the first round of the playoffs, tragedy struck Thomas as he was informed that his sister had unfortunately passed away in a car accident just days before. But Thomas fought on, beating the Bulls and taking the Celtics all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. There, they eventually lost to LeBron's Cavaliers after Thomas was ruled out of the series because of a hip injury. The former last pick of the 2011 draft would finish his career with an average 17.7 points, 4.8 assists, and 2.4 rebounds as as well as a ton of journalists wanting to speak to him. Someone who's never struggled to be noticed was second-round pick Dennis Rodman. The NBA's self-proclaimed bad boy was chosen 27th overall by the Detroit Pistons and quickly made a name for himself as a fierce defender and unstoppable rebounding machine. His low draft stock and position coming off the bench didn't stop the young power forward from shining. He went to back-to-back NBA Finals on his first 3 years as a Piston, eventually winning it in 1989. Rodman dominated the boards, averaging 9 rebounds a game in the regular season, and playing tough defense on the other end of the court. He won NBA Defensive Player of the Year in the 89-90 season, and his .595 field goal percentage was the best in the league. Detroit went back to the NBA Finals only 1 year later, winning it again, with Rodman picking up another Defensive Player of the Year award. After a brief stint with the Spurs, he would eventually land in Chicago, where he racked up an average 14.9 rebounds in his first year, winning another rebounding title, and helping the Bulls to a then record 72-win season. By the time he retired from the NBA in 2000, the second-round pick had won 5 NBA championships, made 2 All-Star appearances, been voted Defensive Player of the Year twice, as well as being named NBA Rebounding Champion 7 times. What all these players have in common is that they refuse to let their draft stock define their worth. For them, it didn't matter if you made the league with the first pick, or in Isaiah Thomas's case, the last. Talent and hard work win every time.